Who's your good girl? Who's your good? Are we gonna go smoke a joint later? Are we gonna? Yes, we are.
I got a notice from the DGA. Dues are owed. If I don't pay, my membership will be terminated. June 6th. I know I just posted about this yesterday. But I want to talk to you about what the Directors Guild of America actually is, and specifically the role of an assistant director. Because it's not talked about enough. And they're the ones making the movies. The Directors Guild of America, one of the most powerful unions in Hollywood. Covers directors, unit production managers, assistant directors. Now, most people hear assistant director and they think, just the person that gets the director coffee. And while I've gotten plenty of director's coffee in my career, that is not my job. Now, the assistant to the director, they're there to manage the director's calendar, their personal needs, so on and so forth. But the assistant director has a much bigger job. The assistant director runs the set. The first AD is the leader on set, even more so than the director. The director focuses on performance, on the image. The first AD makes sure there's a day left to shoot it in. They build the entire schedule from scratch. Every scene, every location, every department. Actor availability, equipment, stunts, special effects, all of it assembled into one plan that has to work. And then the day starts and nothing goes according to plan. An actor is stuck in traffic. We can't get into the location. Yeah, we got rain coming in. First AD figures it all out in real time in front of everybody. If you've ever been on a set and you've heard one voice just cutting through the noise, well, that could be David O. Russell. Most likely, it's the first AD, calling the roll, moving departments, keeping the energy focused. That is the first AD. New people on set often confuse that as being the director. They're not completely wrong. They work hand in hand. What's funny is that most of the time, first AD knows more than the director that they're working for. It's not a knock at directors at all. It's just math. Directors work on their projects, which, let's be honest, for most directors, it's a handful over the course of a career. First ADs bounce from job to job to job, maybe not as much right now, with all sorts of different directors, with all sorts of different crews, not to mention all the different budget levels. They just have more experience running the thing as a whole. And if you didn't have them, nothing would get done. The first AD is also, a lot of times, the last line of defense between the director, the producers, the studio. The director wants more, the producers want more, the studio wants more. First AD is standing in the middle of all of it, trying to hold the day together, protecting the schedule, protecting the budget, and making sure nobody gets hurt. People's lives are in a first AD's hands, and that's not a metaphor. Stunts, weapons, pyro, heavy equipment, a crew on a 14-hour day. The first AD, at least in America, is the safety officer on set as well as everything else. In other countries, they have like a safety officer. And the first AD, first ADs. And the safety officer, safeties. But in America, we just, consolidate. Safety meetings every single day. If something goes wrong, it's your fault. So that's the first AD. That's what I want it to be. Right below the first is the key second AD. If the first AD is living in the present, keeping today moving, the second AD is living tomorrow. They build the call sheet. They manage the actors. They organize base camp, the trailers, hair, makeup, wardrobe. All of that stuff that happens off set so that the first AD can stay on set. Below the key second AD is the second AD. Yes, I know, it's weird. Again, in other countries, it's a third AD. We just have to be special. The second is the first AD's right hand on set, helping out with all of the moving parts, all of the things that are happening, as well as helping set the background actors, all the extras that you see. And they do my least favorite part of the job at the end of every shoot day, the production report. The official recording of everything that happened that day. There's nothing like shooting for 16 hours and then sitting down at your computer for another hour and a half to 2 hours of work. And then on a big enough movie to warrant it, you have an additional second AD. More background, more set complexity, more moving parts. Not every production needs one. Ghostbusters needed one. That was me. That's where I started my DGA career. But before I even got there, I was a set production assistant for 4.5 years on major motion pictures and television. And I mean every PA title there is. Key PA, paperwork PA, base camp PA, walkie PA, first team PA. I did them all many times over. And of course, an additional lockup PA, where you stand on a sidewalk for 12 hours and don't let people walk down into the shot. That is where everyone starts, unless your parents are someone famous. Because that's how you learn what a set actually is. Not from a classroom, from standing on it every single day until it's a part of your body. In order to be on the qualifications list for the DGA, to even be eligible to be hired as a DGA AD, you have to submit the book. Mine was 3-inch binders. Oh, I still have it. I should have brought it for this, but it's in storage. Every single day that you worked as a production assistant. The call sheet, the production report, the corresponding pay stubs. All of it, project by project, in chronological order, day by day. With your name highlighted on every fucking page. You need 600 qualifying days. Some days on indie projects, they might not, so I played it safe. I submitted, I think it was close to 700. Here's the truth about the book. It's daunting, it's tedious, it's very annoying. It's not the way my mind works. I didn't want to do it. My girlfriend at the time, she got me to do it. She pushed me through it. She got me to the finish line. Eternally grateful for that. It was 3-inch binders that contained 4.5 years of some of the hardest work of my life. So I submitted and I waited. My first full-time AD job was on Ghostbusters, the one that came out in 2016, the one with the gals. I felt a level of responsibility that I had never felt before in my life. And I absolutely overcompensated for it. Misplaced confidence on a lot of things, maintaining the complete illusion that I was on top of my shit while I was quietly figuring out the job at the same time. What nobody tells you about your first real promotion is that everybody does that. Every single person that ever stepped into a role that they earned spent at least the first little while performing confidence until it actually became confidence. It's just how it works. When you have somebody good in the first AD position, when the AD department works well, when tone reigns supreme, when the leadership is confident, and then when every single other department is moving towards that same goal, that's when being on a movie feels like living inside the thing that you always dreamed filmmaking would be. It's a great feeling. That feeling is really great. And I felt it. And the first AD is a huge part of why that feeling exists. So when I tell you I was proud to join the DGA, I need you to understand what went into it. 4.5 years, every PA job on the ladder, multiple times over, close to 700 days, 3-inch binders, a girlfriend who wouldn't let me quit on the paperwork. Yeah, that card meant something. And it still does. It still does. I haven't worked as a DGA AD in over a year, and I don't want to anymore. It feels like I went to the greatest cinema university for 15 years, and I got paid to go to it. And overall, I was treated very well. But now it's cap and gown season. I respect the hell out of the DGA. Do I want to still be a member? Yeah. Does it make sense right now? No. And I don't want to be a member as an assistant director anymore. I just don't. Does it leave me with a lot of weird emotion? Yes. But that's how I know I'm doing the right thing. Because anything worth doing is a little bit terrifying. This industry especially does not hand you a roadmap. And there's no guild for the version of you that's in between things. Still a filmmaker, still serious, just not in the lane that everybody assumed I'd be in right now. My guidebook exists for that type of person. Plan R exists for that type of person, because I am that person. I've already showed you what my decisions mean. At 19 years old, I decided I wanted to join the DGA as an AD. I did that. I decided I wanted to quit drinking. Just past 4 years, not looking back. So when I tell you I'm going to be in the DGA, but this time as a director, it's going to happen. That is something that you can trust. But this isn't just about me. For the people who are following me, I want you to see that you are capable of anything. And the best way to do that is just to show you. So do me a favor. Follow along. We're just getting started. And if you don't think that I can do it, you should follow along too. So I can tell you I told you so.